You have been carrying something you don't have a name for. Not a weight exactly, more like a quiet knowing that the life you are living and the life you were made for aren't the same thing. And nobody talks about that gap. Nobody tells you that the exhaustion you feel isn't just from being busy. It's from holding back the version of you that's been trying to break through. Tonight, we are going to stop holding back. You've done everything you were supposed to do. You showed up, you tried, you stayed when it would have been easier to leave. And somewhere in the middle of all of that effort, something in you went quiet. Not because you didn't care anymore, but because you started to believe that maybe this is just what life feels like. You stopped expecting things to change. You stopped expecting to feel fully alive. But here is what I need you to hear right now before you close your eyes tonight. That quiet voice inside you that still whispers, there has to be more. That voice isn't wrong. It's not naive. It's not ungrateful. It's the truest part of you. And I'm not here to give you 3 steps or a promise that everything will be perfect by morning. I'm here to remind you of something you forgot. Something that God buried under the responsibilities, the disappointments, the years of trying to be what everyone else needed you to be. You're not here by accident. The desires that keep resurfacing, the ones you've tried to talk yourself out of, they are not distractions. No, they are directions. And the fact that you can't shake them, that's not a problem to solve. That's evidence of something real trying to get your attention. I know how tired you are. I know, not just the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The deep exhaustion of holding everything together, when inside you feel like you are coming apart. You've been walking through your days with a smile that doesn't quite reach your eyes, and you think nobody notices. But you notice. Every night when the world gets quiet, you feel it. The gap between who you are pretending to be and who you actually are. That gap is the source of your exhaustion. You are not tired because you are doing too much. You are tired because you are being too little of who you really are. And here is where it gets strange. There is something happening right now that you probably haven't noticed because you've been looking in the wrong direction. Let me come back to this because first I need to remind and to explain something about how this actually works. You have been taught that life is about finding the right path and staying on it. But what if that's not quite right? What if it's more like you are standing in a river and the current isn't something you control? You can fight it, and believe me, you've been fighting it. Every time you tried to make something happen that just wouldn't come together. Every time you forced a door open that was clearly meant to stay closed. That was you fighting the current. But what if the current isn't working against you? What if it's working for you? I know that sounds almost too simple. But think about the moments in your life when something just flowed. When you met the right person at the exact right time, when an opportunity appeared that you couldn't have planned, when you knew something without knowing how you knew it. Those moments aren't random. They are glimpses of what's actually happening beneath the surface of your life. There is a current moving, and it's been moving the whole time. The question isn't whether it's real. The question is whether you will stop fighting it long enough to let it carry you. This brings me to something I think about a lot. Imagine a seed buried in a dark soil. From above ground, you'd never know it's there. It looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, the shell is cracking. Something new is pushing through. And here is what nobody talks about, that cracking. It hurts. It really hurts. The seed doesn't get to stay comfortable and also become the plant. It has to break open. And if that seed could feel, it would probably think it was dying. But it's not dying. It is becoming what it was always meant to be. You are that seed right now. That pressure you feel, the restlessness, the sense that something has to give. That's not a sign that you are doing something wrong. No. It is a sign that you are ready to break through. But here is the thing about breaking through. You can't do it from a place of striving and pushing and forcing. You do it from a place of surrender. Not surrender like giving up. Surrender like letting go of the idea that you have to make everything happen by yourself. Surrender like finally admitting that the way you've been trying isn't working. And maybe, just maybe, there is something wiser guiding this whole time. I want to tell you something I believe to be true. There is a force working on you in your life that you didn't create and can't control. Whether you call that God or the universe or something you don't even have words for, doesn't matter right now. What matters is that this force is not against you. It's not punishing you. It's not waiting for you to get everything right before it helps you. It is right now actively working behind the scenes to rearrange things, to open doors, to put you exactly where you need to be. And the only thing required from you is alignment. Alignment. Alignment, that's a word people throw around a lot. But what does it actually mean? It means you stop pretending. You stop performing. You stop trying to want the things you're supposed to want and start admitting what you actually want. Think about that. Not what looks good, not what would make other people approve of you, and that's important. What you want in the quiet, honest moments when you're not trying to impress anyone. That's alignment. And when you finally give yourself permission to want what you actually want, something shifts. The current you've been fighting suddenly feels like it's carrying you, because it is. It always was. Remember when I said there was something strange happening? Here's what I meant. The timing of you hearing this right now, this exact message at this exact moment, it's not coincidence. You are at a tipping point. You can feel it, can't you? Something has been building. Maybe you've noticed more synchronicities, seeing the same numbers, running into the right people, having conversations that feel almost orchestrated. That's not your imagination. That's the current letting you know you are close. You are close. You are close to something shifting. But there is one thing that can block it. One thing that keeps more people stuck than everything else. I'm getting to it. And I need you to stay with me. First, I want to talk about something that doesn't get said enough. Nobody tells you how much of your energy gets consumed by the version of you that's trying to be acceptable. You have a version of yourself that you present to the world. the one who has it together, who knows what they are doing, who doesn't need help. And then you have the real you, the one who wakes up at 3 in the morning with the tightness in the chest, the one who worries about things you'd never say out loud, the one who sometimes feels completely alone even when people are right there. You've been taught to hide that second version, to push it down, to pretend it's not there. But every time you do, you are draining yourself. You are spending your life force maintaining a gap between who you are and who you show the world. And that gap is exhausting you. But what if you didn't have to? Imagine that. What if you didn't have to? What if the real you, the one with the doubts and the fears and the messy, complicated feelings, is actually the one that can be loved? What if the version of you that you have been hiding is the version that's actually capable of receiving the life you want? You can't receive from a place of pretending. You can only receive from a place of truth. And the truth is, you're not perfect. Neither am I. Neither is anyone else. And that's not a problem. It's actually the whole point. You don't have to fix yourself to be worthy of what's coming. You just have to stop hiding. That thing I said was blocking people. It's this. A refusal to release control. A refusal to release control. You want to trust the current, but you are still gripping the bank. You want to believe things can work out, but you are still running every possible scenario in your head, like you're the one who has to solve everything. You're not. You're not. You were never meant to carry this alone. There is a wisdom working through your life that is so much bigger than your planning. You're worrying, you're trying to figure it all out. And the moment you admit that, you're exhausted from trying to control everything. That's the moment something can actually change. I want you to feel this. Not just understand it intellectually, but actually feel it in your body. That tightness in your jaw, that knot in your stomach, the way your shoulders have been creeping up toward your ears all day. That's the physical manifestation of holding on too tight. And you can let it go right now as you're listening to this. Just notice your breath. You don't have to change it. Just notice it. Just notice it. Notice where you're holding tension. Notice what happens when you just allow yourself to be exactly where you are without trying to fix anything. That's surrender. That's the beginning of alignment. Now, I want to talk about something that happens when you start living this way. People will notice. They might not understand it, but they will feel something different in you. You become like a calm in the middle of chaos. Not because your life is perfect, but because you are not fighting it anymore. You are moving through the current instead of against it. And that changes how you show up. It changes how you parent, how you lead, how you love. People don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be present. They need you to be real. And when you finally give yourself permission to be real, you give everyone around you permission to do the same. You are anointed for something specific, not anointed in the flashy, performative way people talk about. Anointed in the quiet, grounded way that means there is something placed on your life. Something you're meant to demonstrate through the way you live. When people look at you, they are not just seeing you, they are seeing what's possible. Do you know that? They are seeing someone who went through the fire and came out stronger. Someone who doubted and kept going anyway. Someone who didn't have all the answers and still showed up. That's what you are demonstrating. Not perfection, but resilience. Not having it all together, but trusting anyway. That's the kind of person who changes things just by being in a room. But I have to tell you something important. This isn't about feeding your ego. If you take this as a reason to feel superior, you are missing the point entirely. This is about responsibility. You have been prepared for something, and part of that preparation involved going through things you didn't understand. The loneliness, the rejection, the seasons where nothing seemed to work out, those were not punishments. Those were purification, yeah, that word, purification. They stripped away what wasn't really you so that what remains is solid. You are not here to impress anyone. You are here to be fully who you are. And in doing that, in doing exactly that, you give other people courage to do the same. there is a process happening within you right now, a kind of deconstruction. Old ways of thinking are falling apart. Belief systems you inherited but never chose are crumbling, and it can feel destabilizing. Like the ground beneath you isn't as solid as you thought, but that's actually good. You can't build something real on a foundation that was never yours. Let the old ideas fall. Let the limiting stories dissolve. You are being rebuilt from the inside out. And what's coming together is more authentic, more grounded, more you than anything came before. I want to give you a practical invitation tonight. Starve the noise. Not forever, but for a season. The constant input, the scrolling, the consuming of other people's opinions about your life. Starve the part of you that's addicted to distraction. When you quiet the external voices, you start to hear the internal one. And that internal voice, the one you sometimes mistake for intuition, for conscious, for something pulling you forward. That's the current. That's the guidance. And it's been speaking to you the whole time. You just couldn't hear it over the noise. Make space for silence. Make space for stillness. You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to do it perfectly. Just carve out time where you are not consuming, not producing, not performing, just being. Just being. That's where the real work happens. That's where you reconnect to the truth of who you are and what you actually want. And in that stillness, you might just notice something you've been avoiding, a desire you've been afraid to admit, a truth you have been reluctant to speak. Let it surface. It's not dangerous. It's direction. Breakthrough doesn't come from striving. It comes from surrender. It comes from finally admitting that you have done everything you can do. And it's time to let something bigger than you take over. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's really wisdom. The blocks you've been experiencing, the areas where nothing seems to move, no matter how hard you try. Those aren't proof that you are doing something wrong. They are proof that you are trying to do it alone. And you are not alone. You were never alone. You're never alone. There is something changing in your life right now. You might not see the full picture yet, but I'm sure you can feel it. You can feel the edges of it. It's like the moment you just before dawn, The sky is still dark, but there is a subtle shift, a lightning at the horizon that tells you morning is coming. That's where you are. Don't mistake the darkness for absence. It's preparation. It's the final moments before something breaks open. And it will break open. Not because you forced it, but because you finally relaxed into the timing of it. You're going to look back on this season, the uncertainty, the waiting, the not knowing, and you are going to understand. You are going to see how every closed door was protection, how every delay was preparation, how every person who walked away was making space for someone who's actually meant to be here. The story is going to make sense, yeah, but first you have to walk through the part where it doesn't make sense. That's where you are. And you are doing it. You are still here, you are still listening. That means something. I want you to know that all those prayers you prayed when you were falling apart, all those nights where you begged for help, all those moments when you didn't think you could keep going, all of that was heard. Every single word, every tear, every silent scream. Nothing was wasted. And nothing was wasted. You're about to see evidence of that. You are about to see things come together that you couldn't have orchestrated if you tried. And when it happens, you will know it's not luck. You will know what it is. It's the current. It's guidance. It is the thing that's been working on your behalf the whole time. So rest. Rest. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are not the one holding it all together. You can release your grip. The world will not fall apart if you take a breath. The situation will not unravel if you stop obsessing over it for one night. You can sleep. You can let go. And when you wake up, whatever needs your attention will still be there. But you will face it with something you didn't have before. Peace. Not peace that comes from everything being resolved, but peace that comes from knowing you don't have to resolve it alone. There is something sacred about this moment, right now. In the quiet, before you end your day, you are not just listening, you are participating in something. You are saying yes to a different way. You are cracking open just a little bit and letting light get in. That's brave. That's brave, whether anyone else knows you are doing it or not. It is brave. And you should know that the path forward isn't going to look like what you expected. It's going to be better. Not easier necessarily, but more alive, more yours. Less about performing and more about being. Less about controlling and more about trusting. Less about fear and more about faith. You've been asking for a sign. This might be it. Not because I said anything particularly profound, but because something in your spirit recognizes truth when it hears it. And the truth is, you are seen, you are known, you are loved, and you are being guided step by step towards something you can't even imagine yet. Let yourself feel that, not as a concept, but as a warmth spreading through your chest. The warmth of being held, of being self, of being safe, of finally being able to exhale another after holding your breath for years. That's what's available to you, not someday when you get it all right. Now, in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the uncertainty, in the middle of your imperfect, beautiful, unfolding life, you are loved exactly as you are, not some future version. You, right here, right now, with all the doubts, all the fears, all the things you wish you were different. You are loved, and that love is the current. It's what moves the river. It's what cracks the sea open. It's what's been with you from the very beginning, and it will be with you until the very end. So take a deep breath. Let the weight of this day slide off your shoulders. You don't have to solve everything tonight. You don't have to have the answers. You just have to be here, open, willing, a little softer than you were an hour ago. That's enough. That's more than enough. Tonight, as you sleep, let the work continue without your effort. The same force that holds the stars in place is holding you. The same wisdom that orchestrates the seasons is orchestrating your life. You can trust it. You can rest in it. And tomorrow, when you open your eyes, you will be one step closer to the thing you've been moving toward your whole life without even knowing it. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not forgotten. You're not alone. You are being prepared. And what's coming is worth everything. Everything it took to get you here. Rest now. You are safe. You are held. You are loved. And nothing can change that. Good night. Sleep tight.